So I'm currently babysitting Bathaniel's boulders right now. He's out of town, and I kind of figured, you know what? I bought way too many games last year. I'm going to show all of them to you because why the hell not, right? So let's get started. We have a lot to get to. Well, of course, got to start with Mario. Mario Bros. 1, you might be really surprised that I have this game in particular. Like, how on earth have I never owned this game? Well, I have owned the original version for like a decade, but it's the version with Duck Hunt. This is just regular-ass Mario Bros. 1. And this is, of course, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels on the actual Famicom disc. What I do like about this is the cover art is actually really, really nice looking. It's a lot better than whatever the hell this is. I like this a lot more. Yeah, these are games I really have no desire to play like ever, but it just felt appropriate. Plus, you're also going to notice that a lot of these games, I'm going to say I got them like for video. Like, these two games, I needed them for the 2D Mario Marathon videos. If you're wondering, like, you know, why would I randomly have this, like, super common game? I got it to get a 2-second shot, okay? that happens a lot. Now we've got Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I actually played this last year. I've not made any content on it, but I hate this game. This game's horrible. I am in the process of working on ranking all the Zelda games, so I've been kind of playing them in order. I did play all the Breath of the Wild last year too, but I played that. Now I'm just kind of going in order. And God, I have a lot to say about this game, but I'm not going to have much to say, you know, right now, just because I have so many games to get through. And now we have Mega Man 3 and Mega Man 4. These are both fantastic Mega Man games, and honestly, the only reason I got them is because I already had physicals for 1, 2, 5, and 6, so it just kind of felt appropriate to get these for 3 and 4. They're also not super expensive because Mega Man 1 and 6 in particular have gone up a lot in value. These are still relatively cheap. I think this one, it's been sitting at around 30 bucks. This one is a little bit more. It's around 40 to 50. So this one's a little bit pricey, but honestly, this one's still not bad. And for NES, that's pretty much it. So now we'll go ahead and move on to Super Nintendo. Similar to the Mega Man games, I already had Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, and it only felt right to get Donkey Kong Country 3. I'm not a super big fan of these games. I know it's a really hot take. I don't, like, you know, hate these games. There's just something about them that I've just never really liked that much. Like, yeah, they look amazing, music's incredible, but like gameplay-wise, I don't know, something about the controls just always feels weird to me. But I'll definitely be playing all of these this year, actually. I have an excuse to play pretty much every Donkey Kong game, so I'm excited to finally play this. I have played the first and second game. This one, I've never really touched. Now, Kirby Superstar is just incredible. I kind of want to get all the Kirby games eventually. I don't think I'm missing too many at this point, but Kirby Superstar is just an incredible game. One of the best Kirby games by far. Although Superstar Ultra on DS is definitely better than this one. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ms. Pac-Man on SNES. Why would I buy this? Well, honestly, it all boils down to, I was at a friend's house last year. I played Ms. Pac-Man on the Super Nintendo with him, and the game turns out to be really damn good. What's great about this version of the game is that it actually has fast Ms. Pac-Man, so makes it worth getting if you like Ms. Pac-Man, because it's really hard to find the fast versions of this game. Now, this game is f***ing weird. Wordtris? Again, I played this at a friend's house, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta get it. Imagine Scrabble and Tetris combined together. It is the wackiest combo I think I've ever played for a puzzle game. It doesn't really work that well, but it's kind of awesome. It's one of those like weird things where like you pull it off the shelf, you play it like one time, and you kind of like remember your experience for like 10 years, but never play it again. The last Super Nintendo game I got was Zelda: A Link to the Past. This is another one that I also played last year, and it's really, really solid. I like this game quite a bit. I don't really have much else to say about it. I played through it really quickly. I think I finished it in like a day and a half to 2 days. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Link to the Past, a good video game. Let's move on. Wow, another Zelda game. This one, of course, is Link's Awakening. It's not the DX one, it's actually the original version. With that said, though, I did play the deluxe version last year as well. I played a lot of the old Zelda games last year. And Link's Awakening DX, or I mean, this one basically the same thing outside of that one color dungeon, right? I really did not like this game that much. It was very so much outdated stuff in this game, like the fact that I had to constantly pause to like switch weapons to be able to jump over specific things, break specific blocks. Now, of course, the Switch version does basically fix all the problems, but I wanted to experience the original one, and while there are a lot of really charming things about Link's Awakening, man, the original one's hard to go back to. Now, I got a problem. I have like 50 versions of Monopoly I can't imagine this one's any good. Someday I'm going to play Monopoly on the original Game Boy. I just think it's kind of fascinating that, like, you can actually fit a game as complicated as Monopoly on a tiny Game Boy cartridge. That's mainly the reason I got it, because I want to eventually pull this out and try it and just see how the hell they made it work. Wario Land 1 and 2. I always forget if this is also a Game Boy Color game. I think there was a Game Boy Color version. But anyway, Wario Land 1 and 2. These are games that I also played last year. I ranked all the Wario games, so I finally had an excuse to play these. The first Wario Land, this one was fine. I don't remember a lot about it. It wasn't a super memorable game, just because a lot of it really it did feel like a Mario platformer. Wario Land 2, on the other hand, was very, very different. It's kind of like a puzzle platformer. It's like the best way to describe it. I feel like Wario Land 2 and 3 are both very deserving of remakes at some point. Because, these are Game Boy games that are hard to go back to, but like this game is still pretty solid. It's another one that I also had when I was growing up. Donkey Kong. We got all three of them. Land 1, 2, and 3. I have never played these, but yeah, I've heard these games aren't great, but, you know, again, I'm going to have an excuse to actually play all the DK games this year. So I'm actually pretty excited to try these and see what they're all about. So this is where my problems began. I decided last year that I was going to finally just get all the Pokemon games because I'm really tired of seeing them going up in price. I'm like, you know what? If I keep waiting, I will literally never be able to afford these. And I have a lot of really special memories with especially Gens 1 and 2 as a kid. So, and the only game I ever had was just Pokemon Red. So I don't even know why I have that here. I've always owned that. But anyway, Pokemon Blue and Yellow, it's great to finally get these games back. But the thing is that since I went out to actually get all these, it kind of compelled me to buy like way too many games this year. But that is not all. I also got Pokemon Pinball. Now, my version of the cartridge, I'm actually going to pull this one out. It's missing a piece. Let me see. It's missing the case for the Rumble Pack. And basically, the reason I even got this without the little cover is because it was so cheap. I think this game is worth around $30, $35. I found it for $10. I never actually owned a Game Boy Rumble game. And the Rumble games on Game Boy are honestly pretty interesting because I feel like a decent amount of people know that this game exists. They know about, you know, things like WarioWare Twisted or Drill Dozer or maybe even Yoshi Topsy Turvy, but there's actually a ton of Rumble-based Game Boy games. Although I guess I kind of jumped the gun, that was a Game Boy Color game, but whatever. We're going to finish up Game Boy. We have Mario Land 1 and 2. Now, I've played these games a bunch in the past, but never owned physicals, and it just felt like it was right to own these because these are both fantastic games I feel like no one ever talks about. So seriously, if you like Mario games, you gotta give these a try. And at the very least, if you don't want to play these original versions, there are deluxe versions. If you want to, you can look them up on your own, but yeah, great games. And to wrap up Game Boy, we have Mario's Picross, and honestly, the only reason I got this is because I love this box art. It's the same box art on the cartridge too. It's just Mario's face, and that's it, and then some squares. That's literally all it is. I have no idea how to even play Mario's Picross, or Picross in general, but maybe it's one that, you know, I'll eventually try, and I do think there was a Japanese sequel to this game, Mario Picross 2. From what I can remember, I'm pretty sure there is like a obscure version, or like a obscure sequel or something. Okay, last Game Boy game, I promise. Metroid 2 Return of Samus. This seems like another weird thing to get because there's, you know, AM2R, there's the 3DS remake. And basically, like, what I'm doing is I'm getting all the Metroid games because when Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out, I'm going to basically play through all the Metroid games, right? So I figured I might as well get these now because I've always been super intrigued by Metroid. I think it's a really cool franchise, and I did enjoy the games that I have played in the past, so yeah, I'll eventually get to this one. But now, we're on to Game Boy Color, and we're starting with a bang. I meant to flick that. We're gonna flick it now. Tetris DX. Literally Tetris in color. That's all it is. I'm obsessed with Tetris. This will probably not be the last Tetris game that I bought this year, or last year. It's 2024. But yeah, can't really go wrong with that, can you? Now we've got Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. I loved Pokemon Puzzle League on N64, and this is basically the same thing, but on the Game Boy Color. But yeah, Puzzle Challenge, eventually gonna try it. I'm excited to try it. I also love the box art too. Really good pixel art. Now the Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Color. This actually came out on Switch last year as well. I have no idea how to play the trading card game. Maybe someday I'll try it out and pick it up because Yeah, I don't think there ever was another Pokemon card game video game. I'm trying to think, like, was there like any Japanese versions? Because I don't remember there being any other ones besides just this one, which makes it kind of cool. So these games, these are my babies right here. Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal. Absolutely adore these games, and it's so great to finally have them back. It was really hard to actually find like legitimate versions. Like, you have to be really careful to not get repros, because finding repros is really easy to do, like when you're going like online. Soul Silver and Heart Gold are probably better technically, but like I am always gonna love these games. The Mario sports games on Game Boy Color. Potentially the best in the entire series, because what they did here is amazing. It's not just a sports game, they're also RPGs. It's something that we just haven't really seen. Like, there was that one game, I can't remember, it was like Golf Story, that's it. Golf Story. Golf Story is like these games, it's like a modern version, but these are the originals. I still think it's really awesome that like so much effort was put into such old Mario sports games, so these are great to have. Now, this is a really weird one to talk about. Donkey Kong Country. So this was actually my first version of Donkey Kong that I ever played, because I didn't have a Super Nintendo when I was younger, so I never played the originals. I thought this was Donkey Kong Country, the one that everyone loved that I heard about. And if you actually go back and play it, it is not great. It's got horrible screen crunch. The pixel art obviously isn't going to be as detailed as a Super Nintendo game. There might have been weird, wonky problems with the controls too, but it's super cool to actually have this again, and I will be playing it when I'm tackling all the DK games later this year. I don't have much to say about this, but I do have the physical version of the Deluxe Link's Awakening as well. Includes a new secret dungeon. Oh boy, it's a secret dungeon. But yeah, no, it's literally the same game, but with color. And the dungeon. And that's it. So I've actually got a pretty fun fact about these games, or well, one of these games. Oracle of Seasons. This was the very first Zelda game that I ever played, and I remember getting it when I was, I think, 6 years old. Okay, I was still really young. And this is the game that made me stay away from Zelda for like 20 years, because when I played it, I had no idea what the hell to do. It was so confusing. My 6-year-old brain could not comprehend this. And it's funny because this isn't even the heavy puzzle-oriented Zelda game. This one is more about combat. But these are games that I'm actually really excited to revisit at some point. These are games I'll probably be playing relatively soon, whether it's this year or next year. I guess we'll see, probably this year. But that is all I have for Game Boy Color, so let's move on to the Advance. And we have more Zelda. We've got the Minish Cap. I've heard a lot of great things about this game. It was really hard to find a version that was authentic and not just like a weird reproduction cartridge, but I did eventually find one. And yeah, you know, this is, again, I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'll play it at some point. So we're just going to knock out all these Pokemon games right now. We might as well. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green. The only ones I really grew up with, or actually the only one, is just Fire Red. I played this a lot when I was like, I don't know, like 9, 10, 11 years old. I think I've played through like Emerald like 2 or 3 times in the past like 5 or 6 years. This game is so sick. These ones are great too, but obviously Emerald is the superior version. Just fantastic games all around. It's super exciting to like actually have all these now. This is an interesting one, DK King of Swing. So what's really cool about this DK game, I feel like no one knows it exists, but what makes this game so damn cool is that it only controls with the R and L buttons. Everything, all the movement is just with the shoulder buttons. You know, now that I think about it, only being able to use 2 buttons to move around kind of sounds awful, but hey, you never know, maybe they made it work. We've got all the Donkey Kong games again, just on Game Boy Advance 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I just think it's really funny how, like, on Game Boy Color, they only remade the first one. And then on the Advance, they remade this yet again and then added 2 and 3 on top of that. I have no idea how competent these ports are. I've heard that they're, like, pretty decent, but I don't think that they still look as good as the SNES one. But yeah, these games I'll definitely be tackling at some point. So I know this is a little bit random, but I've got Game Boy Advance video versions of the Fairly Odd Parents Volume 1 and 2. But basically, like, the only reason I even got this, or both of these, was because I was planning on doing a ranked video on all the Fairly Odd Parents episodes. I was, like, into Season 3, I'm like, man, am I really going to watch 7 more seasons of this? I'm like, nah, I'll leave that to Ellis Mark. And lo and behold, that's what he did last year, so cool. Now I just have these to show for it, thank God. Now, this is the one Metroid game that I have played a bunch of. I've heard people say it's like not the greatest one, but honestly, I really liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I wasn't really going for like 100% or anything. I was just kind of like running through, but I remember making a decent amount of progress. At some point, I will actually finish this game, but yeah, at some point. And then we have Metroid Zero Mission, which of course is just a remake of the first NES Metroid. I will eventually play this. I've heard a lot of great things about Zero Mission, so it's another one I'm pretty excited to try out. Got a couple of Kirby games. I think these are the only ones on Game Boy Advance. I could be misremembering. I know there's Kirby Tilt and Tumble on Game Boy Color. I don't know. Anyway, Nightmare in Dreamland, Amazing Mirror. So this is a game that I actually owned as a kid, and I freaking love this game. It's still fantastic. It's aged incredibly well. You can play it on Switch Online. You can play with 4 people on Switch Online. This game's freaking sick. Nightmare in Dreamland, also really, really great. It's a remake of Kirby's Adventure on the NES. And I know some people like the NES version more, but still, fantastic game, both of these. Now we're getting to the weird shit. This is Super Collapse 2. It is a puzzle game. You might be wondering, what the hell is Super Collapse 2? Well, I used to play the Collapse games on the computer when I was a lot younger. Frickin' Collapse, you need a mouse for this damn game. How did they make it work on Game Boy Advance? I'll find out someday. I got the cartridge. I'm excited to try it at some point. Now, this is a pure nostalgia game for me. I know that might make very little sense. It is Lizzie McGuire on the go. You can beat this game in about 30 to 45 minutes. It is the world's easiest platformer. And, well, basically, it's just a family thing. That's all I'm going to say. It's just like, it's a family thing. It's a very nostalgic game for me. That is literally the only reason I have this. I've heard great things about Drill Dozer. It's got, of course, the Rumble Pack. It's actually a pretty cool looking Game Boy Advance card. Let me go ahead and pull it out. Yeah, it looks really, really awesome. But I've heard amazing things about Drill Dozer, which is why I got it. So at some point, I'm definitely going to try this. Got a couple of Wario games, of course. WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. It's fine. It's WarioWare. It's the very first one. Now, Wario Land 4. Oh my god, this game is freaking sick. I think it's probably my favorite Wario game. If you played Pizza Tower, guess where it got its inspiration from? This goddamn game. If you like Pizza Tower, you gotta play Wario Land 4. This game is freaking awesome. Is this game freaking awesome, though? No. I guess we'll move on to the other Sonic games I got. Sonic Battle. I mean, this game is fun. It's very, very bloated. Then Sonic Pinball Party, it's a pinball game. It's got a Knights and Samba de Amigo stage in it. And it's fine. It's nothing crazy, but it's fine. Now, I warned you about this. See? Monopoly, Game Boy Advance. Once again, morbidly curious how this plays. That's literally the only reason I have it. And we'll finally finish Game Boy Advance with all the Mario stuff that I got. God, I got way too many Game Boy Advance games. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So, for anyone that doesn't know, the remake coming out on Switch, it's literally this game. It's going to be this exact same game. Then there's Advance Tour and Power Tour for golf and tennis. These are basically like the Game Boy Color games where they're RPGs, but they look a lot nicer. Yeah, that's it for Game Boy Advance. Let's switch things up. We are going to Sega games. So I have a bunch of Genesis titles, and I do have a Sega CD game, which I'll get to. A lot of these were actually gifts from last year. So I think 3D Blast and Sonic 1 and Sonic and Knuckles was a gift, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I did have to buy a couple of these for the 2D Sonic Marathon video. I needed them for footage. Something that is very cool was I never really realized how the lock-on technology worked. And it's literally just you open this door, and boom. Now you can play as Knuckles in Sonic 3, and you get a bunch of levels. Also, I love this game for no reason. 3D Blast is stupid, but I love it. In the last Sega game, we have Sonic CD. This was a last-minute purchase. This is a game I never thought I would actually buy, but again, I needed it for footage for the 2D Sonic Marathon. Oh, it's still got foam on it. That's nice. Yeah, no, this is really, really cool. I love these jewel cases. Like, they're really big. They take up way too much space. But there is something really satisfying about just having like a big-ass case for your games. This is basically going to be it for Sega CD. I don't think I'll ever buy another CD game unless I get something really weird. So let's go to GameCube. We're going to go ahead and start with Mario Party 6 and 7. Now, these are games that I've always wanted. The only thing that I kind of don't like about what I got here was just the box for Mario Party 7 is a little bit faded out, as you can see here. But that's about it. I mean, these are still fantastic games, so really cool to have them. So this was a really cool purchase. I remember I got it at a convention I went to last year. It's actually the way that I originally played Ocarina of Time, because I remember I did a video on Ocarina of Time like 4 or 5 years ago, and I played the GameCube version. I don't know why. I guess because I think I looked it up and it was like the best running version, and like, you know, obviously I could play like the 3DS remake, right? But I wanted to play the original one, and this is the best version of the original one, as far as I'm aware. And last but not least, we have Monkey Ball Adventure. Holy crap, this game sucks. This game is like genuinely horrible. Now, I already made, I've made videos on, I think I ranked all the Monkey Ball games last year. That's the main reason I got this. This game is just freaking trash. I honestly don't even want to think about it again. I can't believe that it exists. And now it's time for the Wii. The first one I got this year, Rock Band Track Pack Volume 1. Now, why on earth would I buy this game? It's got 20 all-new epic tracks. God, I love mid-2000s and like early 2010s games. They all say the word epic. You're going to notice a lot of Rock Band and Guitar Hero games in this video. There's a reason for it that you'll find out about later this year. There you go, Track Pack Volume 1. Wow, Monopoly again? What? Now, I've actually played this version of Monopoly. This one is actually fantastic. It's kind of better than like the newest one that you can get like on the Switch or you know, PlayStation, whatever. But yeah, Monopoly on the Wii. I don't have the GameCube one yet. I'm gonna have to get that someday. Got a couple of Kirby games, Epic Yarn, Return to Dreamland. This one seems really redundant to get because Return to Dreamland Deluxe came out, and like, you know, why would you ever even bother to play the original since the Deluxe version is superior in basically every way? But I still love this game. I never actually played it on the original hardware. Then Epic Yarn, again with the word epic. Everything's made of yarn, and the levels are just the way that they're all built around the idea of yarn is just incredible. Like, genuinely one of the prettiest looking platformers I've ever played. Only one Sonic game for the Wii. We have Zero Gravity. This is a game that I actually kind of like. I always struggle if I like the first one on GameCube or this one more. But I don't know. There's something about this game that I do really enjoy. Like, they're both pretty solid games, but yeah. Excite Truck. It just kind of felt weird to not own this game. This is a classic launch game. It's kind of a reboot of Excite Bike, I guess. There's something about it that is very, very charming. I think I've played it like once or twice. And it's honestly a fairly decent game. I wouldn't call it like deep or anything, but like for its time, it was a really cool game. I've heard a lot of things about Fortune Street, so someday I'm gonna have to play this, and I figured, you know what? When the right person comes over, they're probably gonna ask to play Fortune Street for some stupid reason, so I've got it for whoever you are out there. It just looks like a very complicated and just weird Mario Party kind of game with Final Fantasy characters Dragon Quest characters in it. That's all I can really say about it. This game slaps. I love Wario Land Shake It. It's, I guess, technically like Wario Land 5. It's a sequel to the fourth game. Such a fun game. It's a beautiful looking game, and it's also really, really fun. Totally worth playing if you're into Wario Land. I honestly kind of forgot that I never got this in the past. Skyward Sword. So I know obviously Skyward Sword HD came out on the Switch, but a lot of people don't like the controls in that game. Thing of the matter is this game is really made for the Wii Remote specifically. Wii Remote and Nunchuck. So at some point I am going to be playing this game. So, oh, what the hell? There's 2 discs? Why is there 2? Oh, there's a symphony as well? Oh, that's sick. Did I get like a special edition? Zelda 25th Anniversary. I just noticed that. Oh, that's actually really cool. I figured that I would get the rest of the Metroid games. I already had 3, so let's buy it again, but also have 1 and 2. So the Prime Trilogy. It is a shock that this has not come out or been ported on Switch yet. Like, I know we just got the remake of the first game, but like, come on, let's get 2 and 3 on the Switch already. Metroid Other M. Well, heard a lot of decisive things about this, but you know what? I am all about playing decisive games, because I always like to see, like, oh, what am I gonna think about it? Like, I love playing, like, really weird games, even if they're not that good. So this one, I'm honestly kind of more excited to play than even, like, the Prime Trilogy. More Donkey Kong. It is just Barrel Blast. Again, I'm gonna be doing DK-related videos in the future, so I got it for that, but seems like a decent Donkey Kong game, or maybe a decent game. I don't know. This is another weird, like, obligation game. I already had all the other Wii series games. I had sports, play, music, you know, whatever fit. But Wii Party never had that. And it's funny because I had like Wii Party U, but never the Wii version. I mean, it just seems like it's Wii Play. Is that all this is? I'm pretty sure this is basically just Wii Play, but with more minigames. Over 80 minigames? Holy crap. That's actually kind of nuts. Now, Pokemon Battle Revolution. I actually know literally nothing about this. I think this is kind of like Pokemon Stadium. I don't know, but it seems like a decent Pokemon game, so I got it. And then finally, I have Mario Party 8. This is actually one that I did grow up with. I played it a little bit as a teenager. Not a lot. I actually played this game more in college. This game's fine. It's like the last decent Mario Party game before they really just fell off a cliff. But at least they're coming back with Mario Party Superstars and even Super Mario Party to an extent. But that's it for Wii. Like, at this point, everything that I've showed you, those are all games I've had like on my wish list for like a decade at this point, and I just said screw it and just got them all last year. But I am not done yet. Moving on to Xbox, we have Conquer Live and Reloaded. I've never even played the original Conquer, but yeah, there's just some. I just love the entire concept of these games. I think I got this game this year or last year, but it might have been 2 years ago. I don't remember. I got this one from a friend, grabbed by the Ghoulies. It kind of reminds me of like Luigi's Mansion. It's like the best way to describe it. It's kind of like that. But yeah, from what I've played, like it's a decent game. Now, this game I did not buy. I was at a convention last year. A group of teenagers came up to me. They handed me Zapper, One Wicked Cricket. Then they laughed, and then they left. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's a funny game, and I don't know why. I've never felt more old in my life, because I genuinely don't understand how this game's a meme. I really appreciate this game. I will never play it, but I will always keep it just for you. Let's move on to the PlayStation 2 with Guitar Hero 2. A lot of these are just going to be Guitar Hero games. We have Encore Rocks the 80s, and then, of course, the original one. Although, of course, a lot of people didn't play these ones. Like, the series really got big when Guitar Hero 3 came off. That's when it was popping off. Then we have iToy, number 1 and number 2. I never would have even known that there was a second one. But the thing is, I did a ranked video on all of the PlayStation controllers, and of course the iToy is technically a controller, right? So of course, gotta get some iToy video games, and it's these two, and they're kind of fun. I wouldn't necessarily call them, like, great. Like, it's kind of like 1-2 switch. It's like, you know what, it's mildly entertaining for like an hour, then after that, you'll never touch them again. And finally, we have Buzz the Hollywood Quiz. Again, I literally only bought this for that same video, the PlayStation controllers. I needed to try out these buzzers because they're technically officially from Sony. So I got them, and it is a weird quiz game. That's about it. Let's move on to the PlayStation Portable. We've got Monkey Ball Adventure again. Now, basically, I just wanted to get footage of the cartridge itself. Oh, this must still be in the PSP. But yeah, this game, it is incredible how bad this game runs on the PSP. I just think it's weird how, like, this is the only Monkey Ball game on this handheld. There's something really bizarre about that, and it's, like, horrible. Very weird. Then the last one was Rock Band Unplugged. Again, you're going to see a lot of Rock Band and Guitar Hero games today. But yeah, it is just Rock Band, but you push buttons. Wow, cool. And I got one game on the PS3. I might as well show you guys that now. It is iPet. It was to try out the PlayStation camera because, frankly, I couldn't find any other video games that used the PlayStation camera specifically. And it was not very good. It was kind of like the iToy, but I guess slightly better. Even the quality of the camera was just really bad. But yeah, this is the only PS3 game I got. Woo. Now we'll move on to the Nintendo DS. This is the last console where I went really crazy with getting stuff. Starting, of course, with Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. And, you know, I love how it's just like, it's all goddamn touchscreen. It's probably not a super great game. I don't know which one people like more. I think people like Phantom Hourglass more nowadays, but I don't know. Either way, these are both games I'm super excited to play at some point. Oh boy, Tetris Party Deluxe. It's more Tetris. It's basically the same thing as the Wii one. Obviously, it doesn't look as good. But yeah, Tetris Party Deluxe. It's Tetris again, and it's always good. I think Bathaniel made a video on this game on the channel last year for Super Princess Peach. I've never played this game. It's one that, like, I've been wanting to play for a super long time. Maybe I will play it since Princess Peach Showtime is coming out this year. A little bit sexist, potentially, considering her power-ups are literal emotions. But anyway, let's just move on. This game's going to get me in trouble. Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll. I'm super excited. Well, I guess I was excited that I was finally able to play it last year, of course, for that ranking Monkey Ball video I did. I wish it had like all brand new levels. A lot of the levels come from Monkey Ball 1 and 2. It would have been nice if it had a bit more of an identity. But yeah, pretty solid game. Got a bunch of Sonic games as well. Let's see, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I think this was like $5 at a convention last year. I like the version on Wii. I love Transformed. I played that a lot, like 10 years ago when it came out. But I never played the DS one, so I'm curious how good it is. Sonic Colors on DS, one of the most underrated Sonic games of all time. Fantastic. And then Rush Adventure. I kind of have nightmares about the fucking missions still. But yeah, that's Sonic for the DS. Now we have Dream Pinball. I've never played this. The only reason I own it is I was trying to get Meteos on the DS, and that came in a 5-pack on eBay. And this was a part of that 5-pack, and I'm like, okay, this looks interesting, and I'll probably never play it. Gonna be real with you here, but I've never really played Animal Crossing. I played a tiny bit of New Horizons on Switch. I definitely want to play this at some point, because, yeah, it'd be really interesting to, like, play them all and then, like, see, like, which one's the best, I guess, out of all the games. Then we have that classic Walmart exclusive Chibi Robo Park Patrol. I've heard that this game is just fine. I'd actually be really curious to play this one, too, because the GameCube game is fairly decent. I've played a little bit of that game, but the DS one I've never touched. I honestly have no idea what it's even like. Heard a lot of great things about Elite Beat Agents. Again, that's why I got it. People praised the hell out of this game when it came out, and it's got a bunch of flashy characters and stuff. It's probably fantastic. So at some point, I'll be playing it. Mario and Luigi. I decided to get all of the RPG games last year as well, so I need to get partners in time. And I enjoyed this game. It was maybe a little bit confusing to navigate when you have to control 4 characters at once, but I don't know, man. This is still a pretty solid game. Like, a lot of people say, oh, it's just fine, but I thought it was, like, you know, pretty good. Got a couple of Pac-Man games, Pack and Roll and Pac Pix. Now, Pack and Roll, there's really no reason to play this version because it's been remade on the Wii and the Switch. It's a part of like a Namco collection. But the original, of course, was on the DS. You used the touchscreen to roll around. Pac Pix, I've heard a lot about it, and I've never played it. I'm pretty sure like you can like draw Pac-Man. He moves after you draw him. I guess that's kind of cool. I heard a lot of things about it like back in the day, which is the main reason I got it. So I'd be curious to eventually play it. Well, here we are again. Back to Collapse. This one's Super Collapse 3. I've played, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of it, like, just for fun. So if you're into, like, you know, easy/basic puzzle games, like, Collapse is a really good one. Would I get it on the DS? Probably not. Brain Age 1 and 2. Really, the only reason I got these was just for nostalgia. These are games that, again, I played with family when I was a lot younger. I used to have, like, competitions and stuff. And you know what? It did kind of make you feel smart. You could, like, test your brain age and stuff. It had free Sudoku. How can you go wrong? Now we'll get to the Diddy Kong/Donkey Kong games. Jungle Climber. So like King of Swing, it's the same thing. You can only move with the L and R buttons, but of course it's the sequel. And again, I have no idea if it's any good, but I had to get it. And then Diddy Kong Racing DS. I've heard a lot of people say that it's really, really bad compared to like the original Diddy Kong Racing. So I played it for maybe, I don't know, an hour or two, and I see where people are coming from. It's definitely not as good as the original. Now, I'm not going to get into detail about these because Bathaniel already made an entire video about the Guitar Hero on the DS games, but I did get these last year for Bathaniel. Now we have Nintendogs. I honestly was only going to get Lab and Friends, but like when I was looking online, I'm like, you know what? They got all 4 of the originals right here. All these are the same thing too. There's just, you know, different dog breeds. It's an interesting idea to like pick up like a dog breed or like, you know, whatever, like a specific dog, right? Interesting concept. Nintendo's tried to bring back, but no one really cared because it's one of those like weird gimmick things that you can only do once. Now, Metroid Prime Hunters. I always forget that I played a lot of this game too. And this game's honestly pretty solid. I hear a lot of people say they don't really care for it, but I don't know, man. I liked this game a lot. Like, I played the first Hunt demo on the DS like 100 times. I was obsessed with it. And yeah, you know what? Prime Hunters, pretty underrated. It's probably not as good as the the original 3, but overall, not bad. Okay, might have made some really bad decisions here. As you can see, we've got Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black, Black 2, White, White 2, Soul Silver, and Heart Gold. Oh my god, I shouldn't have done this, but again, you know what? I was dedicated to get the rest of the Pokemons. I now have them all, which is awesome. And, I have actually played most of these. The only ones I have not played is White 2 and Black 2, but I have played, or both of these. I have played Diamond and Pearl, and they're fine. They're very slow, but I get why people love these games. I totally get it. Platinum, I have not tried. I need to try it eventually. Again, Black and White, they're very similar to Diamond and Pearl, but like they have much more interesting story. Now, Soul Silver and Heart Gold, I never intended to get the big boxes, but again, you know, I brought up this convention I went to. I bought like 7 or 8 of these games last year, so got all the Pokemons, and that's it for the Nintendo DS. So let's go ahead and move on. We're actually getting kind of close to finishing. Oh my god. I think it's time to spice things up. We're going to the PS4 with Guitar Hero Live. Again, another Guitar Hero game, which you'll eventually see why I have all these. But this was actually the last Guitar Hero game, and they've not made another one since. I don't know. I feel like the time has passed for this kind of game, but I hope it makes a comeback at some point. Firewall Zero Hour. Literally only got this so we could try out the PlayStation VR gun. I forgot what it was called. PSVR Aim. That's what it's called. The VR Aim. I don't know if I'd want to play the whole thing in VR. I'd probably rather just play it, you know, normally, but it's not bad. It's a decent game. Now, Dreams. Actually, Bathaniel bought this one because his editor desperately wanted him to play one game in Dreams. So that is why he has it. But yeah, got Dreams. Got a handful of Sonic games here. Again, I basically only have these because I needed them for footage for the 2D Sonic. Marathon, Superstars, Mania Plus, Origins Plus. What's with all the plus? Yeah, I mean, out of all these games, like, obviously, you know, Mania is definitely the best. Origins Plus is like the best way to play the classic games, but not much more than that. And then Sonic Superstars is the most average Sonic game I've ever played. Yeah, there you go, Sonic Superstars, oh boy. And the last PS4 game, Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Again, I got the physical because, well, first off, I just like Monkey Ball, but second, because I needed it for footage. It's about as close as they have gotten to making a good Monkey Ball game since like 20 years ago. So good job, you're getting there. We're almost at the point where they used to be great games. Now, if you saw the GameStop video from last year, there was a bunch of Switch games that I purchased. Start with this, everybody 1-2 Switch. So I honestly only got this because I originally thought they were only going to sell this on the Nintendo store, and I have not played it. I doubt I will ever play it. If anyone ever wants to play it for shits and giggles, now we got it. We got the chance. So both of these, again, were just for footage. We needed these for the 2D... No, this was for the 3D Mario Marathon last year, and this is, of course, 2D Mario. Yeah, Mario Odyssey, Mario Bros. Wonder. I don't have much to say. They're good Mario games. And then, of course, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It just felt like it was necessary to get a physical copy. I've not really played it. I did play all of Breath of the Wild last year. So, yeah, eventually I will get to playing this. But that was it for Switch. Okay, so I might have forgot that I also got Wii U games. Don't ask why, but we got Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD, and then, of course, the original Hyrule Warriors, which, honestly, there is no reason to play this, but I'm probably going to need it for footage for something, so I said, screw it, I guess I'll get it. And then these games have somehow still not gotten ported to the Switch, despite being rumored for, like, what, 4 or 5 years at this point? Oh, it'll come this year, it'll come this year, it'll come this year, and it just hasn't happened. Maybe it'll never happen. Now I've got them physically on the Wii frickin' U. Thank God. Oh yeah, I forgot another Zelda. Breath of the Wild on Wii U. I would actually be really curious to like just try it out for like an hour or two. I think that like maybe the map screen was on the gamepad or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's one I'd be very curious to try. So we have a Taiko game on the Wii U. I can't even read it, but the main reason I got it is because it has Amiibo compatibility, and I'm doing a video on all the Wii U Amiibo compatible games. I'm a big fan of rhythm games, so I do like Taiko. Well, I can't read this one. It'll be interesting trying to get footage of this. Then we have Star Fox Guard and Star Fox Zero. I will probably try them eventually. There's not that many Star Fox games, so like nothing to do a particular month. I'll probably just play them all, and then I'll finally have an excuse to play this. And then finally, Smash Bros. For Wii U. I've played probably, I don't know, 600, 700, maybe close to 1,000 hours of this damn game. This was like my college game. I played this in Splatoon 1 so much in college. And that's it for Wii U. I will probably never buy a Wii U game ever again, because there's quite literally nothing else to play on it. So we're going to move on to the Xbox 360. This is going to be very fast, despite having a lot of games. because most of these, if not all of these, are just different Guitar Hero and Rock Band games. So we've got the AC/DC Live Track Pack and Band Hero. I actually had this one as a kid. It was pretty solid. I never played this one. I actually like hated pop music when I was a lot younger. Although nowadays, like, I'm much more into pop and this kind of music, so I'd probably love this game now. We've got a bunch more Guitar Heroes. Me later finding out you can just play the second game on the 360. Of course, the 3, the one that started it all, played so much of this, and this, and this. These 3 games, oh my god, I played thousands of hours of these as a teenager. And then Aerosmith I dabbled with a little bit, but like I'm not a big Aerosmith fan, so I never played a super big amount of it. Oh yeah, these exist too. DJ Hero 2. You play on a literal DJ turntable. I've played, I think, the first one. I played one of these. I think I was actually at like a girlfriend's house. I'm pretty sure it was at her house, and she owned it, and I tried it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, wow, this is hard. And then that was it. So eventually, well, later this year, I should actually try to like get good at these. Got a handful more of Rock Band games. Lego Rock Band, the very first one, and then Green Day. Played a ton of these because I was a big metalhead when I was younger. But yeah, more Guitar Heroes. All of these I played a ton. Well, 5 I didn't really play that much, but I played a ton of Warriors of Rock, Metallica, Van Halen. Great memories with basically all these games. 5, not really. I think I played all the songs like once or twice and that was it. But these games I replayed a ton. And this is the rest. It's all Rock Band stuff. Of course, all these different track packs. You might be wondering what the hell is a track pack? Well, basically, instead of like buying DLC, you could literally buy the DLC songs on discs and then basically import those into your Rock Band games. Incredibly cool concept. It's something that I almost wish games would do nowadays. I think it's really cool to have like all these extra like discs for like this particular series. Something about that's just really awesome. So lots of track packs. Then 2 and 3, these are some of my most played Rock Band games, especially 2. Oh my god. Well, 3 too. I played so much of these. I never owned the Beatles Rock Band. Again, I just didn't really care for it. But let's move on to the actual last console. Oh boy, more Tetris. Tetris Axis and Tetris Ultimate for the 3DS. I think Tetris Axis does actually do something different. Traditional and brand new modes, new ways to manipulate Tetraminos. I don't know what that means. It's probably fantastic because it's Tetris. Now, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, a fantastic remake, or even just, I'd say, a port of course, the original on the Wii, because you don't have to shake to do attacks. You can just do all buttons. Pretty neat. I'll definitely be trying this out. I have played the original on the Wii, and I did not like the fact that there was forced motion controls. I just feel like it didn't work well for a platformer because you had to use them so often. So this, probably the superior version, I'd imagine. Now, Animal Crossing New Leaf, again, I got this just because I wanted to have all the Animal Crossing games, and I'll probably play it eventually. I think people say that this one's kind of like the best. It has like the most content out of all the Animal Crossing games, so figured might as well get it. Got another Japanese game I can't read. It's some One Piece Super Grand Battle. Again, this is a 3DS exclusive amiibo ordeal, so it's for this amiibo video. Looks like a fighting game. I imagine it's probably decent. Who knows? All right, here we go. It's time to get extra epic with Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. This game's actually pretty neat. It's literally just Kirby's Epic Yarn again, but it's got like brand new modes. It adds like actual abilities for people that like it. I don't know. I always like this one maybe like a little bit more than the Wii one. Now we've got all of the Mario and Luigi games, and I think it's kind of funny how this is the only one that doesn't have a red box. Like, why not make it a green box? This was the year of Luigi, the 40-50 hour RPG game with a bunch of filler in it. What else do we have? We got Bowser's Inside Story, Superstar Saga. I've never actually played the remix. So I played like a tiny bit of them, but like I've never like finished them. And then Paper Jam, again, it's just like another really bland Mario and Luigi game. I've really been like, kind of like the goal for the next few years is to like really delve into brand new series that isn't just Mario, because I've played so much goddamn Mario past like 10 years, so like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff that isn't Mario, just to try new things out. Now we've got the Zelda games, Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D, Triforce Heroes. I think people liked it, but I don't remember very much about it. Now, these two games I've heard great things about. Well, this one, not so much, but Ocarina of Time 3D I've heard is like definitely the definitive version, and I've heard people like don't like that they made the swimming controls like If you're a casual, you probably will like this game more, but if you're like a hardcore N64 Majora's Mask fan, you probably would not like the 3DS one as much. So, with that said, I am excited to play this version. I already got a bunch of the Pokemon 3DS ones a while ago, but I was missing Moon and Y. So I figured, why not get them? Either way, this game is kind of boring, and I've never played X and Y, so eventually I'll play these two. And we're circling back around, baby. Metroid Samus Returns. Got the Game Boy one last year, as well as the 3DS one, and it's probably really damn good. Heard a lot of really good things about it. I just like Shovel Knight. I don't think I'll ever play it on 3DS. I mean, maybe I'll, like, you know, dabble with it, try it for like an hour or so, just to see, like, you know, what it's like, see how it plays and stuff. I just freaking love Shovel Knight, so that's really the only reason that I got it on 3DS. Now, for Star Fox 64 3D, it is literally Star Fox 64 again, but I guess it has... Does it have 3D? I'm assuming it has 3D in the name. I'm sure it uses the 3D. They remade a 1-hour game. Then we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the 3DS. Why the hell is this even on here? Why does this game exist? Then there's Ultimate NES Remix. I think I got the first one on Wii U like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, at some point I definitely want to play these. Like this is my kind of game. You know, I love NES games, and remixing them, adding new rules to them and stuff, I think that's super cool. Now, Chibi Robo Ziplash. This game is kind of ass from what I've heard. I've never really played it, but it doesn't seem like it is that great of a game, but I had to get it because it's Chibi Robo Ziplash. And finally, to end things on an actual banger, Kid Icarus Uprising. Good lord, this game is freaking sick. The only problem is that it's painful to play, quite literally, because of how you have to hold the controller, but goddamn, this game is freaking awesome. I really hope it gets ported to the Switch, or just at some point ported to anything, and I'm so glad that it exists, because holy crap, it is just so good. And there you go, that is every game that I bought in 2023. Will I buy this many games this year? I hope not.